One of the most important ways teams prepare for upcoming opponents is understanding the way they draft. Today, we're going to statistically compare the draft priorities and tendencies of the strongest teams coming into Worlds to see what we can learn about them. I've picked 5 teams according to general power rankings consensus. In alphabetical order, those teams are DAMWON KIA, Edward Gaming, FunPlus Phoenix, Mad Lions, and Royal Never Give Up. Before we dive in, I want to shout out the volunteers and editors at Leaguepedia for hand-collecting pick order data and making this type of analysis possible. The core of our analysis is a look at which phase of the draft each team tends to pick each position. Note that when a team has 2 picks in direct sequence, I'm treating them as the same pick order, so picks 4 and 5 of the draft, which are the blue team's 2nd and 3rd picks, are both being treated as pick 4.5, for example. Here's how a distribution of each team's average pick order looks when we chart them out. The first thing that stands out to me is how late FunPlus Phoenix tends to pick their solo lanes compared to the other 4 teams, especially on blue side. To do that, it means picking their bot lane earlier. FPX also frequently puts early priority on selecting their jungler. On blue side this summer, they first picked jungle 11 times, or 61% of their games. When you've got DAMWON and Nuguri as your solo lanes, I guess it makes sense to give them as many resources as you can, which in this case means avoiding blind picks as much as possible. In the summer playoffs, DAMWON only had to blind pick in 3 of 10 games, and in the summer regular season, Nuguri only blind picked 25% of the time. We can expect FPX's drafts to continue to be very solo lane oriented at Worlds. Speaking of solo lane draft resources, notice that sharp point on the Mad Lions red side chart? That's indicating how hard Mad worked to protect Armut's matchups by giving him late picks in red side drafts. In 68% of Mad's red side games, Armut received the last pick of the draft. That allowed him to more comfortably bring out picks like his signature Wukong when the matchups allowed. Mad were more likely to grab their mid and bot roles early on the red side, and they tend to pick mid very early on the blue side as well. Though it's interesting that while they still left top lane picks a bit later than some teams on blue side, they actually picked support late even more often. Mad never first picked support on blue side even once this summer, looking for an even mixture of top, jungle, and mid first picks instead. DAMWON KIA have very balanced blue side drafts, but on red side they leave their support picks quite late. They last picked support 40% of the time on red, giving Beryl lots of opportunity to bring out unusual one-offs like Heimerdinger, Trundle, or Sejuani. Beryl played single games on 9 different champions this summer, and every single one of those came on red side. The same is not true of DAMWON's bot laner Ghost, who only played 10 different champions this summer in 41 games. Look for DAMWON to continue putting Ghost on a pretty standard set of picks, while giving Beryl lots of leeway to pick late and catch opponents off guard. The MSI champions, Royal Never Give Up, tend to pick very early in the jungle. Wei picked his champion blind in 6 out of 7 games between the LPL Summer Playoffs and Regional Qualifier. In fact, across the entire summer split, RNG first picked jungle 50% of the time on blue side, and didn't last pick jungle even once. Wei was happy to pick up Xin Zhao or Lee Sin almost every game. If he had a chance to pick after the opposing jungler, he typically brought out Olaf. Wei's comfort with early picks means RNG can often let Cryan see his matchup before picking, and also lets them pick late for Gala in the bot lane on red side. Finally, we have Edward Gaming. Their most obvious trend is their willingness to pick top lane early, first picking at 38% of the time on blue side and only giving Flandre 4 last picks all summer on red side. For anyone who knows Flandre's reputation historically, that might come as a real shock. He used to be the player who wanted last pick every game so he could smash his lane 1v1. But while his champion pool this summer still ran 16 picks deep, it featured a lot of blind picking on things like Renekton, Gwen, and Kennen, champions he was comfortable to grab early to allow EDG to gather more information before picking in bot for Viper, or giving Scout last pick on red side, which he received 32% of the time. Watch EDG to see how intentional they are about getting strong choices for those core carries. It should be fascinating to see how all of these teams and the rest of the world's field adapt their pick and ban strategies for best of 1 round robin play, or whether they stick to the strategies that got them here in the first place.
Thank you so much for watching that video. It's so nice to have you here on my YouTube channel. Why don't you toss a subscribe to the channel while you're here? It's very helpful. Also want to give a big shout out to Alienware. They right now are hosting the Alienware Games. If you've ever wanted to be a pro player, or just not a pro player, but somebody who competes for fun, you can join the Alienware Games. Head over to alienware.com/Travis. They've got League of Legends. They've got other stuff. Maybe you don't play League that much right now. Maybe you're playing something else. Either way, alienware.com/Travis. Click the banner at the top. It's very helpful. We'll see you at Worlds.